What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here. Day 1 of the Runeterra Reforged Championship just finished, and oh my god, NA might just be the best region in the world. Look, we already knew it, but let's just take a look at the standings. In first place, Degree from North America. Second place, Ice, very strong Chinese player. Third place, Relic, very, very strong Latin American player. And fun fact, also has been to the World Championships in League of Legends, the only player to be at Worlds in League and TFT. Karo, Japanese player. Dishsoap, the perfect player. 62nd Chinese player Beast. Skipaeus, very strong European player. And Weird, also known as Force and Smurf account. That's 3 North American players in the top 8. And if you look at the regional AVP, it is a bloodbath. 3.54 for North America. 0 players, 0, went 8th from North America over the 18... No, more than 18. 24 games that North American players played, because there's 4 times 6. In any case, let's hop into a VOD review. This is a game from Dishsoap. Let me move my head back to the right side. This was the final game from the first day. And even though Dishsoap didn't go first overall, he's in the top 8. Very, very strong performance overall. Degree went first, but this game from Dishsoap was just too much fun, too crazy of a game to not VOD review it. So I thought, let's pop it on the old VOD review, and you know, let's see what we can learn from Mr. Dishsoap absolutely popping off on the world stage. If you did not watch today, we will be co-streaming tomorrow at the same time, which is 4 a.m. Pacific time, a little bit better, 7 a.m. if you're Eastern, so a little bit better if you're Eastern time. I'm doing that on Kai's stream, so I'll have that in the description again. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast. So there's actually an interesting situation here where we get this Edgelord Yasuo, and we can actually pop this Anvil and maybe think about playing a Yasuo game, but we don't really get anything that's good for Yasuo, so we just kind of have to take Gambler's Blade, which is a decent AD option, and we get dropped this Urgot, which is, I mean, a fantastic unit early. Roll the Dice, also an insanely broken augment early, but we end up in this really awkward spot here, where we have Roll the Dice, but we took Gambler's Blade. We want to put Gambler's Blade on like a backline attack speed unit, and then ideally we would put Roll the Dice on Urgot because it's fantastic on him. But Dishsoap makes a really, really cool call here, where he says, you know what, I'm going to make Roll the Dice on my Gragas here, and then I'm going to put my Gambler's Blade onto Urgot here. The attack speed is fine on him. It's not amazing, but it's certainly like fine on him. He's not going to attack the fastest out of any units, but we will have a strong early game with this Urgot, with the Gambler's Blade, and with the Radiant TG on our front line. I think this was such a smart call from Dishsoap. He plays that last round with no headliner in, then hits this headliner Tahm Kench, which is a fantastic upgrade for us. Now we have 3 country in, actually 4 country in with the Katarina, and now we actually have a quite strong board. Depending on the items that we roll in this Tahm Kench, we can absolutely smurf on people. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the format for the World Championship, basically days 1 and 2, all the players play 6 games, so everybody gets to play 12 games, and then they cut to a final 8 from the overall 32. So you have to be in the top 25% to make it to the final 8, and then that's checkmate format. If you're not familiar with checkmates, we'll get there when we get to it, but it's a crazy format, the same format that the Vegas Open used for their finals. So after the first 6 games, 3 North American players being in the top 8, and the only one who isn't is Malala, and Malala's only 3 points out of the top 8, is pretty impressive. Just goes to show that, you know, if anyone ever tells you, oh, you know, when people say NA's good at TFT, you know, it's overstated, they stink. I mean, if anyone says that, I mean, send them to me, man. Like, come on, let's be real. In any case, we have the strong opener for Mr. Dishsoap. We have 3 components open here, which is pretty interesting. We didn't really have a very good slam. We have this cloak, this rod, and this bow, right? We have open here. Dishsoap picks up, the glove here. Dishsoap picks up the bow off Carousel here, which is a quite reasonable take here. It's going to give us some extra attack speed to work with. The only real item that you can slam from this position, though, is the Last Whisper. Like there's not really, or Renan's actually is the other really, really strong slam here, but we're gonna go for the Last Whisper here onto the Urgot here. Just give us some armor shred on this board, which is gonna be really, really important to get through tanky front lines, and yeah, just a solid item in general. But yeah, we make the LW here, which is like, not, I would say, like the strongest item in the world, but it's a fine slam. Dishsoap slammed it earlier today, and he was kind of lamenting about how like kind of annoying it was. The other sort of awkward thing, if you make the Renans here, I would say, is if you make the Renans, you are getting rid of both components that can go towards your armor shred. So you get rid of the LW component and the Evan Shroud component, which is really, really annoying. So I think that's why we go for LW here, to guarantee that we have the shred here, and we maintain a 5 streak, which is really, really nice here. We have an Urgot, we have the Radiant TG, so you know, makes sense that we can 5 streak here, but I think this was a really expertly played. Just that first round where he opted to put the Gambler's Blade on Urgot and then put the TG onto a frontliner, I think was so big for keeping our 5 streak. So really, really impressed by how Dishsoap played this early game. We get dropped another bow. That can easily go to Renans now because we've made the last Whisper. And then Glove is probably not going to be JG. We're just going to have to sit on these components for a little while. But yeah, I think Renans here is a fantastic slam. Really, really good on someone like Caitlyn. These could just be 3 Caitlyn items here. And obviously we were playing an AD flex type angle. We're also going to pivot over into Mosher here, just because it's a very, very nice synergy for us to be playing around with this board. And yeah, hopefully we can keep our streak. We fight Kele, who has a really, really weak board here. They are down to Prismatic because they took not trade sector, but really, really cool trade sector. Jeweled Lotus is just a strong combat augment here, so pretty reasonable pick up here. The level up to level 6 here from Dishsoap, and then I really like it, the sell your headliner and roll here. We roll twice and end up finding Mosher set, which is a really, really nice pickup. Not only is it Mosher for our Urgot, but it's also allowing us to get Heartsteel in here. We can move the Radiant TG over to set. The only downside is that we can't play 4 Mosher because we want to get Country in, we want to get Heartsteel in, but still this is a fantastic board, and then it allows us a very reasonable upgrade next level, which is getting in the 4 Mosher. There's actually some talk in the co-stream about, you know, 4 Mosher here versus Country. It is 4 Mosher onto this Radiant TG set and onto the Urgot, which is pretty big, but I mean, Country is a horse, so I could certainly see Dishsoap's perspective here that Country is stronger. Also, really, really scary. Qingtian here ends up hitting a quite early Senna 3. This is going to be a prismatic lobby, so a lot of people are going to be hitting this kind of stuff early. Really, really nice positioning from Dishsoap here. Spreads out his front line so that if he does fight that player, he is going to, you know, be able to avoid the AoE from the Senna. We end up actually fighting a Kale player who has... it's such a weird spot that they're in. They're Cruel Pact, Kale. They have Gwinsu plus the Extendo range ward item, and they're just sitting here. Sniper's Focus is what it's called, if you want to quiz me on it. It's just like so rough for that. I don't know. We were watching the co-stream, and we were like, this player is like probably guaranteed 8th from just the line that they're playing and how weird of a spot it is. And I mean, no spoilers, but I do not believe they ended up top 4ing this game. Dishsoap's gonna up the level here because he is on an 8 streak here. He can't really play for the streak, but I mean, he can't like guarantee his streak here because there's some strong people in his pool, but he would like to win if possible. And he makes the Morello here. He took Morello off Carousel because he was looking to get this heal cut, just to make sure that you have, you know, in almost every TFT board, you want shred, like resist shred with either armor shred or MR shred, and you want heal cut almost all the time when you play TFT, and we have guaranteed those things already, and we have the Renans for our AD frontline, which is really, really nice. And we are almost at this 100 streak. We just need to luck out and not fight one of these really, really strong players here. Like that board with the double Senna is really scary, and we do end up fighting Bintium here. So it's a pretty scary board, especially because our Urgot straight up walks into the Senna ult. The nice thing is we have so many 2-starred units, the Katarina 2-starred, the Aphelios 2-starred, that we are still able to actually get through this board from Bintium, and the fact that Bintium's down at a combat prismatic, that we end up winning this fight, which is a huge dub for us here, allows us to keep our 100 streak, and now we are very, very healthy going into stage 4, and it opens up something pretty interesting. You will see as we get further into the game, but I mean, the upside is that we are giga rich here. We pick up the Zac. We're just going to chill for 1 round, and then level next round 4 to it, try to pick up our headliner, anything strong, obviously Ezreal, Zed, Caitlyn, Poppy, Zac, all reasonable options. And yeah, just play the 80 flex thing. I mean, this is a fantastic spot. When you're in this position, also, and your name's Dishsoap, I mean, you average like a 2. When you're normally in this position, you probably average like a 3 if you're a solid player. Maybe better if you're like one of the best, but I mean, if you're Dishsoap in this spot, you average a 2. Maybe average a 1, but I think that's saying a bit much. He thought a while about this augment here. I forgot what he ends up taking here. Yeah, okay, so he rolls to take stationary support, but then gets You Have My Sword, which is fantastic up here. Allows you to make Gunblade from these items, and yeah, also gives you the AD you want. We roll and we don't find anything crazy for a while, but we end up finding this Heartsteel Yone here, which is actually a really, really nice pickup because we can play 5 Heartsteel here easily. We're 100 HP. We're not going to obviously continue our win streak here. You know, maybe best case, we would have found some really, really strong board and just win streak the rest of the game. But playing 5 Heartsteel allows us to cap insanely high, especially with 100 HP. We can easily sack 4 rounds here and then take our cash out and then either push 9 if we have enough gold, or if we get a bunch of items, we can roll more on 8 to stabilize our board. So right now, Dishsoap is kind of in like the... He's like, hold the line. We're just going to chill for a few rounds here and see what these rounds look like. Most likely, we're going to take some losses, and then we're going to have to probably roll like 5-1 or 5-2. So, yeah. But something pretty crazy ends up happening here. We fight this Senna board, and my god, this Urgot just plows through the board. The Set walks up, kills the Senna, and look at this. We win this fight. Wait a minute. We're winning this fight. This means that maybe we can potentially just go fast 9, right? Because it means we don't really, like, we have so much HP that we don't really need to roll at this point. Also, you roll there, almost dead. El Mumu also potentially going 8th. It was a rough... This was an interesting lobby because it was Malala, Degree, and Dishsoap in it. And I think so many people, you know, bought for it just because, I mean, you're in a lobby with a bunch of North American players. I mean, obviously you're going to bot for. He takes the bow here for the Caitlyn essentially, and makes an interesting call to roll in this position because he finds this Kayn and says, wait, like, he rolls once to try to start stabilizing his board a little bit, but then he sees the Kayn and says, wait a minute, I have Kayn here. I can potentially play for 7 Heartsteel in this position. I just need to find my Ezreal. And then another crazy thing happens. We beat Yugol here, the other player, which means we are 2 wins in this position. And so Dishsoap scouts the lobby, says everyone's strong, and hits Raise the Stakes at 4-6 on the world stage. I mean, just... there is nothing to be said. There is nothing to be said. This guy, I mean, the absolute... I want to say a phrase that is not... Whatever. The confidence from this player to raise the stakes on the world stage, but he's so healthy because he played the early game out so strong, saved so much HP, and he just has to get through 4 rounds. If he can get through 4 rounds, he's going to get through an insane cash out here. He rolls a bit. This is something that Dishsoap loves to do, which is roll on neutrals, just so that he doesn't get dizzy. I think this is really smart, especially in a set like this, where there's you got to make all of these items. You have to figure so much stuff out. Like, Dishsoap does this all the time, and I think it's so smart. Makes the Edge of Night, and he's just going to roll down here and try to pick up Ezreal. He needs to find Ezreal here, and he does find it in almost the last roll. So now, 7 Heartsteel in here. He's going to pick up this orb, and he can start making some of his items. On the co-stream, there's definitely some talk about whether this is actually the correct play to go for 7 Heartsteel here. Obviously, hitting 7 Heartsteel allows you to cap out insanely high because you're going to get so many hearts. But there is also the idea that you could just potentially go 9, play around 5 Heartsteel, and, you know, like, sack a few rounds, and then you would have saved all of these rolls that you were looking for the Ezreal. I think it depends partially on how many Ezreals are out of the pool. I think someone was saying there were 6 Ezreals out. If that's the case, it's a little bit hard to look for this. But at the end of the day, we rolled down for this Ezreal. We're almost 600 stacks, and we have 2 more fights to go, so we are certainly going to get a huge cash out here. We're going to slam some items versus this Annie player, because we know this Annie player, especially with this 3-star Amumu, we are not killing a lot here. We kill, like, basically 0 there. And we also just want to make some items in this situation, which I think is going to end up being TG Renan's Hurricane here. But look, 950 stacked. 1 more loss will guaranteed put us over 1k. Roll once here, find this Ziggs. We're really just trying to, once again, stay as undizzy as possible. Dishsoap, at this moment, because he has his like, voice on, you can hear what he's saying. He's, like, saying out loud, okay, I'm gonna sell this unit, I'm gonna do this. Like, he is already pre-planning the pivot here, because obviously he's not gonna have that many lives after this. He's down to 26 HP, and that means he is at 1,300 stacks. The 1,250 cash out is his. So let's see what we get from that, and let's see what happens here. So yeah, he's going to cash out in this situation here. You're going to see a ton of orbs go flying, but one thing you don't see is a ton of gold. He doesn't get that much gold. So Dishsoap in this moment knows that he kind of has to roll down here and find some upgrades. He rolls a lot, doesn't really find anything too crazy. Picks up Heartsteel Ezreal, actually, and now he gets to pick up all of his items. He got a Radiant a Radiant Deathblade, and a Radiant Adaptacone, which he ends up reforging into Radiant JG and 2 Ornn items, pops these Ornn items. It's a very difficult pivot to make happen. We had some of the stuff in, but we still take a bad loss to Malala here. And now we are down to 10 HP. We only got one more fight left. He's going to roll here, realizes like, hey, I need to get out of this Ezreal. He's like, please give me some kind of frontliner. And he picks up the Poppy headliner, which is huge. Moves the Radiant TG over. Going to put these 2 Radiant items on Ezreal, and then the Infinity Force there, and then going to go Morello, BT, and another Infinity Force onto Zac. It's hard to say whether like you could Radiant TG the Zac and then move some of these items onto the Poppy, which in my opinion seems stronger, but Radiant TG on Poppy is also insane, so it's a hard call to make for sure. And now we've sort of got there. We've got through the pivot, we have hit our board, we've hit all of these 2-starred units. We have the Ezreal on the same side as the Lucian and the Poppy and the Zed, so that we can just burst through frontline, and we have so many items. We also have this Radiant Jeweled Lotus, which is so much crit with the Jeweled Lotus augment that we have. We have Jeweled Lotus and then we have the Radiant Jeweled Gauntlet. So there's just so much stuff going on here. And Dishsoap says at this point, I know I'm 10 HP. I know I'm fighting probably the strongest guy here, but I can go 9 from the spot, right? I mean, that is fearless gameplay. I know a lot of people here might be scared and say, oh my god, I'm 10 HP, I have to roll. But look, you got to just push 9 in this situation. You got to trust that your board is strong enough, trust in your evaluation of the board. And look, I mean, we absolutely stomped that guy. Malala here, I think, might end up losing. No, Malala actually beats Bintium here, takes him down to 17 HP. But yeah, you got to trust that your board's strong when you get such a big cash out. Now we get to level for Bard here. Sadly for North American hopes, we were fighting Malala here, but Dishsoap is not a win trader, so he is not going to make his board artificially weaker versus Malala. He's going to level play his strongest board because he just wants to play good TFT. Also interesting that Malala is also on a Heartsteel board, so it's 2 Heartsteel boards from the North American players that do very, very well in this lobby, but Dishsoap's board is way too strong. We clear Malala. Bintium takes a bad loss, and it is easily a top 2 for us. We get our cash out here, which is actually a shreddy glove item, Black Cleaver. It's called something else, Obsidian Cleaver, which is fine. We already have the LW, so it's not the best. And it's not like we have much magic damage, but we can sort of like make sure we cleave. Oh, and something crazy here happens is that Bintium hits KDA Akali 3. Dishsoap was praying that he didn't hit, but he did end up hitting. The problem is that KDA Akali 3 kind of sucks. If Bintium had swapped over to a true damage Akali, maybe he could have won, but KDA Akali is one of the worst 3-star 4 costs in the game, and Dishsoap's board is too capped with all of these upgrades, so it's actually a dub through that KDA Akali. I know it was a little scary for a second there, but we end up winning that fight. Also, really smart play from Dishsoap here. He duplicates his 5 quests and then sells them, because this is going to be the last fight for sure. We're going to get as much attack speed as possible off of that Gambler's Blade, so we go for that. We're going to fight Kelly here. And I mean, what can you say? It's a massacre once again. Dishsoap's board is way too strong, and it is an easy first from the perfect player, Dishsoap, to carry him to a easy top 8 finish in the first day. Crazy game. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a beautiful game from Dishsoap. Hope you guys join us for more co-stream of Worlds. Once again, I'll put Kai's link in the description where we're doing that. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.